So my question is, why not you? You probably won't be a giant, neither will I. That's just the way it is. That's like becoming the rock star of the scientific universe. Probably not going to happen, but why can't you be part of the people that fight this battle, that really figure out the rules of the universe and make our lives better? Why can't you do that? So things you might be saying to yourself, I hate chemistry, or chemistry is boring. Yes, be honest, it's run through your head more than once. And that's unfortunate. So the problem is, in this classroom, you will not likely solve the world's problems. You will not go into that lab and come up with a fuel cell. Fortunately, that just doesn't happen in high school chemistry. But what you're doing is you're learning a language. The reason I can come to here and talk to you about some of these ideas is because you guys know words like electron transfer and oxidation, reduction, equilibrium, all these different principles. You're starting to establish a language inside your head so you can really start talking about the subject matter. Not only that, but you start to think about the world much more chemically than you would have otherwise. Thinking about the components of materials and atoms and molecules is really important in establishing the ideas. So you don't have to enjoy all of chemistry, just a small part of it. You could literally take your chemistry book, open it right now to a random page, put your finger down on any one sentence, and say, I'm going to become the world's foremost expert in that sentence. You only need to like a little part of chemistry to really make a career, make a lifestyle, make an entire lifetime out of that subject matter. So if you've liked any of it, you can do that. You might be saying to yourself, I'm not smart enough. If you're saying to yourself, I'm not smart enough, it means you're smart enough to recognize you might not know everything, which is key. That's crucial. The people you should be worried about are not the people that say I'm not smart enough. It's the ones that are sure of their ideas, the ones that are 100% positive, because those are the really scary people. So if you say I'm not smart enough, that's not a bad thing. In science, that's a good thing. I'm not good at math. Do not worry about math. So majority of chemistry, yeah, there's math involved, some subjects more than others, some less than others, some you don't even have to worry about at all. But basically, you don't need to know the entirety of mathematics. You need to know one very specific portion of math to really do what you need to do in research. So do not let math intimidate you out of the sciences. It's just not worth it. In my daily life, I use very specific equations over and over again, or derivatives of those equations. Do not let it scare you away. So here's the characteristics we need. We need people that are skeptical, can differentiate opinions from facts, from theories, people that are willing to change their mind, enthusiastic, work hard, relentless. If you get knocked down, will you stand up and keep working? In science, you get knocked down over and over again. You fail one time after another, but the point is to learn from that experience, get back up, and keep going. So learn from your mistakes and good at searching for information. Believe it or not, this is really important. If you're good at searching for information, it makes your life a lot easier in research. Essentially what we're doing is we have information, we'll go to literature, see what other people have published. The better you are at searching for information, the faster you can get results. Me and my buddies call this Google foo. This idea of being very good at using Google to search for information. Huge advantage. If you are good at that, it'll be a huge help in science, believe it or not. So why not you? But I'm going to be honest with myself, maybe one or two of you in this room will go into anything related to science. Maybe one more if I'm lucky and I've convinced you guys to go into this field. But that doesn't matter. It's important that everyone in this field be cognizant of science and scientific progress. We need everyone, specifically because all of you will pay taxes and you will vote. These are important aspects of science. Where does the funding come from? Most of my research is funded by your tax dollars. The people you vote for decide where those dollars go. So do you want someone that's science-friendly, or do you want someone that's going to take money away from science? 2008 presidential candidates, some of them didn't believe in evolution. That's dangerous. They're not making decisions based on evidence, based on science, based on popular convictions in the scientific field. There are other examples of this. You also pay with your purchasing in terms of, what do I buy? Do I buy stuff that's supported by science, or do I just buy random stuff like magnetic bracelets that are going to cure you? That's not science. So what to fund? Sometimes it's hard to figure out what to fund. You guys won't necessarily know. I talked about some research here. Most of it is going to be specific subject matter, and you'll know nothing about it. But science is very important. So here's a comment by a major candidate in the last election cycle, or in the previous election cycle, basically saying, why is fruit fly research important? Making a joke about it. Do you guys know why fruit fly research is important? It's perhaps one of the best tools we have to study genetics and how traits are inherited. And if you want to understand genetic disorders passed down to your kids, you start with fruit flies. This is hugely important. A huge component of biological research is fruit flies. If you take a genetics class in college, you will literally do this exercise of counting red eyes versus white eyes and seeing how those creatures interact. Everything we learn is important. Again, we stand on the shoulders of everyone. Every piece of scientific information is important, and to make fun of any of it is very hard. So I have a final plea to you guys. So there's me and people like me. We're people that do science not because of money, not because of fame, of fortune, whatever it may be. We could have gone into any field. We could have gotten paid a lot more if we wanted to go in the banking industry, but we chose not to. We chose science, and we did it because we love it. It's what we want to do. We want to figure out the rules that govern the universe, and it's important to us that we do that. Even if I won the lottery tomorrow, I promise, $100 million, I would be back in lab. I will fly home, be back in lab at 8 a.m. I would buy a bunch of new equipment for my personal use, but I would still be back in lab because I really enjoy what I do. And there are a lot of other people like me, and maybe someday you guys will be someone like that. So the important part is to recognize how this science, how this research, how this progress is dictated by these basic fundamental scientific studies. So support science through funding, through how you vote. It is important, even if you don't necessarily see how it's important now. So finally, I'll be taking questions. Also, here's my email, Photons to Fuel. If you have any questions about science, about graduate school, about the choices I made to where I'm going, choices about going to college or whatnot, feel free to email me.